And on our agenda is number 2, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for April 1st, 2025. If there are no questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Consent agenda number 3, 4, and 5. Does anybody wish to pull an agenda from, or an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve consent agenda number 3, 4, and 5. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Acknowledge receipts of reports of officer, boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the receipts of reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business, which is number 11. To consider the hiring of Jim, is it Maker? Am I saying that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. For the Public Works Maintenance position with a tentative start date of May 19th, 2025. Mr. Reeves, will you be filling in the information for us?
Correct. Honorable Mayor, Council, through the rate study, and then earlier this year, Council approved the position and posting of the position to encapsulate the process. We reviewed 36 applications, interviewed 9 in the first round, trimmed it down to 5, brought 2 back for a final third round interview, and we wish we would be able to hire more than one because we had a really great field. But it was pretty clear that Mr. Mager was the top candidate and has a lot of experience in water and sewer and will really add to the team. We believe that everybody will be able to learn some from him, and we'll be able to share some best practices for our process and our department and how we do things. So we're excited to have him join the team.
Okay. My question is, why do you think we had so many people apply? Is it because the city of Wyoming has really gained a lot of what do you want to say? People are hearing about how great it is to work for our city? I would like to think so.
That's what I'd like to think.
Yeah.
I think we bring a competitive package with, the variety of work and then also benefits. And I think people are excited to join Public Works in general, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but then also getting it out to the right people and advertising it properly, I think also helped. And then word of mouth too is always good.
Perfect. And we're starting him at what rates?
It would be step 5, which
Okay.
is $36.21 per hour with a 6-month probationary period.
Okay, perfect. That's all my questions. Member Schilling?
I actually have no questions.
Okay.
I'm
Member-
glad we had such a great pool.
Yeah.
So,
Member Yeager?
I am a little uncomfortable with expanding staff in today's economy, given the current administration and the upheavals. It's, I don't know, maybe not such a great idea at the moment until things settle down.
Okay. Did you have any questions?
No, not really.
Okay. Member Luger?
I have no questions. I think this is fantastic. We know that our public works staff, we've been looking for someone, and this has been an authorized position to hire for, and then certainly we need the labor here. So excited for this to be a thing.
Mr. Erickson, can I ask you a couple questions? Especially with Public Works, we have more roads. MS4, am I saying that right? MS4, because I noticed the big digging project out on 61, right? So when we have, what has it been, 8 years since we've been MS4, 5 years, something like that? And obviously, Public Works has to do more. And it's actually very difficult work to do. It's a lot to it. So adding a new employee to Public Works, what does that do? How does that help us with all the mandates that are put on us?
Well, I'd certainly be happy to answer that. I know our Public Works staff are, and Steve and I have regular meetings and just talk about our infrastructure and planning and how we're gonna tackle whether it's a road improvement project or maintenance projects, and we bounce ideas off of one another. And so that's really helpful for me, and I hope it's the same for Steve. But we talk a lot about, just today, we're talking about pothole pit patching and the amount of potholes that we have. We know that, our road conditions, certainly we've had a lot of improvement projects, but we know that there's really a lot of work ahead of us as well. And so we get regular calls and complaints about potholes, and asphalt plants are just opening back up. We just talked about that this evening, and Steve was down getting asphalt, and the crews were, and out beginning that process, right? So I think the residents will see, additional manpower, will see that effort going into maintaining what we have and keeping it in good condition, keeping stormwater facilities managed and in good condition. There's just an endless amount of work that can be done, and I think, additional staff person would certainly help with regards to that.
Perfect, thank you. All right, I have no further questions, so we need a motion to approve the hiring of Jim Mager for the Public Works Maintenance position with a tentative start date of May 19th, 2025. I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luker, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. Number 12, to consider a work session for May 14th, 2025 at 5 PM to conduct the annual road and project tour. Mr. Linwood, do you
Yes,
wanna? This is
honorable-
pretty,
It is pretty standard. I
Pretty
think you're all
standard.
familiar. This is an annual activity that we do at the council. We've been doing this since 2017. It's an opportunity for council to get out and look at our condition of our streets and look at road projects that are ongoing or that have been completed, and future road projects, future infrastructure, new things within the city. Items. I think it's always nice to have everybody be able to get eyes on the same thing and provide information to the council. So again, this year, Meadows on Fairview has been so generous to donate their bus and driver and time for this activity. So we are asking council to hold that road tour on May 14th at 5 PM.
okay, does everybody have that on their calendar? I just added it. No,
I
you
can't do
can't
it.
go it?
I can't do
Okay.
it
All
on that
right,
date, so,
we'll fill you in,
okay.
okay? Anybody else have problems with that date?
No problems.
No, okay. Then we need a motion to approve the work session for May 14th, 2025 at 5 PM. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So approved. Number 13, I just have to get this right. Number 13 is to have a further discussion on our retail cannabis consulting management agreement. And I don't know if that's Mr. Linwood or Mr. Larson, or how are we starting with this?
I can start that off, Mayor. Council, we had a work session regarding the two items that are before you for item number 13 and 14, but the first being a cannabis retail agreement. We went through this, but there's essentially there's a finalized consulting agreement both staff has worked on and also has gone through our legal counsel in regards to this. But this agreement would essentially outline the structure for proposed municipal-owned cannabis retail business in the city of Wyoming that would operate under this consulting model, and then our independent contractor. The city would retain our full licensing authority, where the contractor would handle all the day-to-day operations, including staffing, facility management, product sourcing, security, compliance, and financial reporting. This would also be the build-out, the staffing, the inventory, the insurance, marketing, taxes, utilities. They would all be employed by the contractor as far as the employees and different things. As identified within the agreement, the revenue share model on this, the city would receive 40% of net revenues, and the contractor would retain 60% of those net revenues as defined by total revenue. This would essentially begin by an initial hemp operation and then transition to a cannabis license under Minnesota state statute. We do have full ability to audit the business at any time during the term of the agreement and 6 years after per state statute. The initial term of the agreement would be for 5 years with a 5-year renewal option available for the contractor, and any party could terminate within 180 days written notice for material uncured breach. The agreement, we believe, has strong indemnification provisions that's clearly defined, the independent contractor relationship between the parties. The contractor would not have the ability to bind the city to any contracts or obligations. Insurance requirements, record keeping, dispute resolution procedures, and legal compliance responsibilities are all addressed in this agreement. As I had stated earlier, it has been reviewed by our legal counsel. And we did, I think, go through this at the work session, but we do have an agreement that we would, if council was so inclined to approve, we want to approve it with the stipulation that it would be if the city does receive their retail cannabis license. And then if Mr. Larson has anything, but I think he identified at that work session that would be substantial form to attorney review and finalization.
Okay, all right. Questions from council. We'll start with Member Lugar.
I have no questions. I attended the work session earlier, and no further questions.
Okay, Member Schilling.
I'm going to echo that. Work session prior, all my questions were asked during that. I don't have any issues with it.
Okay, Member Yeager.
Well, while I don't have a problem with having a dispensary in town, I don't think a city should be in the retail business because cities should not be competing with private businesses. I'm not comfortable with the city getting a net revenue, even if it is 40%. I would prefer to see part of the gross revenue or even a minimum payment. And I also believe it's a good idea for any city who's looking to open a retail business, cannabis business, to get a second bid for these services, which I don't think we've have. And
Okay,
that's
any
it.
questions?
No,
Just a
that's it.
statement?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I do have kind of a question with, which will probably our residents might ask, that 40%. When do we decide like where that money goes to? So will we put it in some type of form of?
It'll be essentially a conversation to have further with the city council, but essentially those proceeds would go into the general fund, but certainly we have the ability to earmark those. I know that in prior work sessions, we had talked about parks, we had talked about streets, we had talked about facilities, but certainly that can be a conversation of the council and identify, or maybe it's portions of those potential net revenues where you would like to do those. If it's multiple areas, certainly that's up for discussion, how the council would identify that best used within the community.
Okay, and many cities have liquor municipalities or liquor that's run by the, thank you. Words are hard today.
That's okay.
So kind of that same thing, right?
Municipal liquor is
yeah.
very common. I know that through the application process right now, you have many cities that are looking at partnerships like this with other retailers or just full out operation and ownership of it, singularly doing it on their own, so.
Okay, and we're fortunate to have somebody to help us and guide us through it.
I think for a city of our size, it would be extremely difficult to have the resources, the upfront cost, and to take on some of the potential not liability, but some of the, I'm sorry.
Operation.
Yes, the operation in regards to that, it's pretty, I think a pretty challenging business that I think you have to know what you're doing, and I think the consultant has a proven track record of that identified, and I think having this in the community, and I think there's procedures in place that will really allow this to protect public interests by we still operate this and still have something that we maintain community oversight, and also having a meaningful share of the profits that we can put back into the community.
Okay. Chief Bauer, same question to you. The benefits of us being a part of our partnership with a group that will bring some funding to us. What is the benefit of having us as a city and our police involved with this project?
I think some of it is what you discussed in the work session earlier. It's just there's a better understanding of what the product is versus what's available on the market currently.
Okay.
That would be our benefit.
Yeah, and to our partners here, the Reds, if you guys can answer this, understanding is when there's a retail cannabis store, there's barcodes, there's a whole slew of different things that go in to make sure that it's safe, correct? You can come on up. I just want our residents to understand the benefits, and then, to me, the benefits is having a safe product instead of what's out there now.
Yes, and officially, my name is Bill Parker, Mayor and council members, thanks for having me. The benefits of having that dispensary and having the legitimate products in place is not only the safety and the testing, but it's also the education that the dispensary staff can provide to the clientele, right? Cannabis is new to most Minnesotans. Even if they were in the black market, there's not a lot of education there for cannabis usage, or, there's no education at all. That's something that we provide. Dispensaries educate the client. They also educate them on the different kinds of products that are available. And they can also gear products to certain experiences. Not everybody wants to get high. Not everybody wants to have that mood altering effect. Some people just want some pain relief. Some people want a little reduction in inflammation. Some people just want to be able to sleep at night. And that doesn't always mean that you're high. And there's a lot of patients and there's a lot of customers out there that are looking for that kind of care. So that's something that we can provide as well.
Okay.
On top of that, above and beyond, the state requires a lot of security measures that go into these facilities. Any officer who has seen one of our facilities can tell you that there is a zone of security around the entire facility. There is no way for anyone to use the product on the grounds. It will be caught by the surveillance systems. Our security teams are well trained to spot that kind of activity. So it ends up being a really safe place where it's just education, dispensing the medication, making sure we're taking care of the client, and limiting underage sales, and making sure that the surrounding area is safe around the dispensary as well.
So basically, you're operating a business in conjunction with us, or we're doing it together, right?
Absolutely.
Is really what it comes down
Yes.
to. We're not pushing anybody out, any other business out. So, okay, appreciate that. Do you have a question?
No, I was just gonna make an additional statement.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still allowed per statute to have a private as well, based on our population, because we're exempt from that count, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
We could have, along with the municipal, there could be another potential private entity that could operate within the city based on population count.
Yeah,
correct?
I just wanted people to be aware that it's not something that we're snatching up to stifle someone
Business.
else from, having the opportunity for that business as well. Not
And
saying it's gonna happen, I'm just stating the fact, so.
And I think to Mr. Parker's point, and not only the work that they'll do, I mean, there are strict standards within and regulations that the state has identified, from security to surveillance to cash handling, ID checks, product, as far as the protocols of how the product is tracked. So I mean, there really are not only what they will be doing as their own operation, but just what the state is requiring through this process, so.
And we would have to hire more employees just to be able to cover that.
Yeah, I think right,
That's
I
an
don't think we're,
understatement, yeah.
like I said, the upfront costs and the knowledge and the risk associated with this is something that I think this is a good situation for the city in this realm.
Okay, great. So we need a motion to approve a retail cannabis consulting agreement. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. Number 14 is a discussion or an approval for the retail cannabis buffer. Mr. Linwood, are you taking that one?
Well, Mayor, we did talk about this at the work session as well. Mr. McFarland is gonna hand out some resolutions to you along this. Essentially, this edition of the buffer is just doing an amendment to the existing zoning code for cannabis.
Thank you.
Earlier, we looked at a map and
you.
regarding how we handle our liquor, tobacco, and the radius is that regarding childcare. Essentially, the updated ordinance would just update and remove that 500-foot buffer and make it similar to in the same as we currently do for both our liquor and tobacco. Mr. McFarland just handed to you essentially is just a resolution for a summary publication. As always, when we do this, we have the ordinance that you received that's, I think, around 10, 12 pages long. And that way, when we adopt a summary, that we just have to do the small portion of the paper, and it's a great savings, and we have to do those legal publications. With that, I can stand for any questions regarding the buffer.
Okay, we'll start with member Yeager. She seems kind of busy over there, but do you have any questions?
Oh, I'm just taking notes. I finally looked at Mr. Linwood enough at how he types on his computer, and I thought I'd try it.
Okay, any questions?
Any questions? No, basically what I said at the work session. If we don't have any restrictions, buffer restrictions on liquor and tobacco, then it just seems silly to have any restrictions on cannabis if your stated goal is to mirror what we do on liquor and tobacco. Personally, I think we should keep the buffer zones.
All right. Member Luker?
I have no further questions than beyond what I asked in the work session.
All right. Member Schilling?
No questions during the work session. I basically stated the same thing. I don't see any reason for the buffer. It's a legal product, no different than our tobacco and alcohol. It's highly age regulated, it's secure. There's no point in the buffer zone, in my opinion, so.
And I know as the Planning Commission liaison, the Planning Commission kind of felt the same way. Why are we putting buffers out there? Why isn't it like the liquor stores? So, all right, so we need a motion to approve the retail cannabis buffer resolution number 250432. Is there a motion?
Member Everson?
Yeah.
If you could also add that we would have, it would be the approval of the amendment to the ordinance, and then also the approval of the summary publication resolution 2504-32.
Okay. Exactly what Mr. Linwood said? Can we just go that route?
You may.
Thank you. All right, so we need a motion to approve everything that I said, plus Mr. Linwood to the addition of the ordinance.
So
Okay.
moved.
All right, Member Schilling, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. All right, last on our agenda is to just talk about what you've all been doing, reports. So we'll start with Member Luger.
I attended the work session earlier tonight in which the new cannabis business was discussed, and that's all I've got. Thank you for attending.
Member Schilling?
Attended the work session tonight, and where we discussed the cannabis addition to the agenda, and thank you for those tuning in and those who attended. Appreciate it.
Member Yeager?
Oh, I just attended the work session tonight. Thank you for coming and thank you for watching.
All right, I attended the Economic Development Authority meeting. It was a great meeting overall. We have a lot going on that we discussed. Also, the Planning Commission and the work session, and otherwise, actually, it was kind of quiet for me. Comes right down to it, so, all right.
Madam Mayor?
What?
If I
Sorry.
may.
Yeah?
Just wanted to quick provide a reminder, you may have seen in my staff report that tomorrow evening, we do have a neighborhood meeting for the 2026 street improvement project. There will be a hearing, pardon me? I'm sorry, 2025 improvement project. Getting ahead of
It's all
myself
good,
here.
it's all good.
The 2025 street improvement project. So again, tomorrow evening at 6 PM, should be wrapped up by 7 PM. And then we do have the public hearing at the next meeting, the first meeting in May.
Okay, did everybody receive postcards and stuff then? Have we gotten some
We
calls?
did mail that out, yes.
Okay, all right, sounds great. Well, look forward to that for tomorrow.
One more update, construction for the 2024 project that's carried over into this project, we did send a mailer out today. They are intending on starting construction on Monday for that project, so that was resuming.
For Goodwin, I mean, we're, that's.
258th
Okay.
and Goodwin, correct.
Okay,
Yep,
perfect. Looking forward to having that done
I bet.
as well.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
Awesome. All right, thanks everybody for coming tonight. We're excited to have a new officer. I think that's just great, a new Public Works employee. I mean, good things are happening in Wyoming, not to jinx it, we're doing that, so. All right, we do need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. We will adjourn at 7:30.